It's a never-ending debate. Should you eat 6 small meals a day or 3 large meals a day? Should you snack or not snack? Like the answer to any debate, the true answer depends on who we're talking about, the individual in front of us. Today I want to answer this question as regards to blood sugar. You could ask this question as it regards to training and the impact of your training and being anabolic versus catabolic and weight loss, etc. But today's video will answer this question, or start to answer this question at least, as it regards to blood sugar regulation. I'm Dr. John Bartemus, and I'm putting the pieces together to help you live a life at optimal. Six small meals or 3 large meals? How do we know the answer? Also, when is fasting good? Well, again, the answer to these questions depends on the individual in front of us, and specifically with blood sugar, it depends on their blood sugar regulation. So we can get an idea of what the right way to eat is based on someone's blood sugar physiology. So ask yourself this: if I go too long without eating, do I get shaky, irritable, lightheaded, anxious, dizzy, nauseous? If you answered yes to any of those, then it's likely you're on the functional reactive hypoglycemic spectrum, or hangry for short. If you go too long without eating, are you a dragon until somebody throws you a snack and then you're you again? If that's you, then you fall on the hangry side of things. And if you are on the hangry spectrum, then at least initially the answer for you is the 6 small meals a day, right? Because you've noticed that if you go too long without eating, you fall apart. So you have to eat more frequently to keep those blood sugar levels level, right? If you are falling apart, or the hangry person, what happens is you eat and your blood sugar spikes up, but then it drops faster than, say, someone with normal blood sugar regulation, hence your need to eat sooner. So initially, you need to eat the 6 small meals or more frequently, not necessarily 6, but more frequently. But the goal is to widen the windows or gaps of time over time between your meals, with the goal of getting to, hey, I can eat just 3 large meals a day and not fall apart. On the other end of things, if you're insulin resistant, then what happens is your cells are not listening to the knock on the door of insulin when you consume glucose. Glucose is chaperone to the cell. Insulin knocks on the door and says, hey, I have a sweet treat for you. Cell opens the door, takes in the glucose, closes the door, and then does its cellular processes. In insulin resistance, insulin's knocking on the door and nobody answers. The cell's just going la 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 la, or hey, we're not answering, we don't like the person at the door. So therefore the sugar stays out in the blood. That can be pro-inflammatory, so the body's going to expend energy to convert it to triglycerides or fat for storage, and hence you're tired and want to take a nap after a meal instead of feeling energized. If you're the insulin resistant person, the 6 small meals a day is going to make you worse, okay? What you want to do is widen the gaps between meals. You want to basically eat and then fast for 4 hours, and then eat and then fast for 4 hours, and then eat and then fast overnight. You don't want to snack. Basically, you want to have as much time between meals as needed to allow insulin to return to baseline, so that the resistance goes away. So those are the 2 basic answers there. Where does fasting come in? Well, fasting is going to be a better strategy, I hope you can realize, for the insulin resistant people. Fasting, intermittent fasting, fasting mimicking diet, there's different kinds of fasting, but fasting is targeted at the insulin resistant side of things to help optimize cell sensitivity to insulin and normalize blood sugar regulation. So for insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes type presentations, fasting could be the right answer. If you are a hangry person, fasting initially is not the right answer, because it's going to make you hangry. It's going to make you an angry dragon. Maybe the goal for the hangry person is to get to a point where you can fast and not fall apart. That's a great goal, but initially the fasting is not going to work for you, and if you've tried it, you've probably noticed. So how should I eat? 6 small meals a day or 3 large meals? Should I fast? When? That's what we covered in this video. If you're the hangry type presentation, the 6 small meals or the more frequent small meals, at least initially, is the strategy, with the goal of then opening the windows of time between meals to the point of normal, which would be 3 meals, no snacks. When should you eat 3 large meals, no snacks? If you're insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic, you want to get to the point of as much time between meals as possible with no snacks to allow that insulin to return to normal, to increase cell sensitivity to insulin and better insulin response. Fasting is going to be beneficial for the insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic phenotype or presentations. As always, if you don't know which you are, or even if you have an idea, it's best to be able to test so we have a baseline number and know exactly where you are, and then we can implement these changes and track over time how you move from hangry to optimal blood sugar regulation, or from insulin resistance to optimal blood sugar regulation. And working with a skilled practitioner that understands how to do that will get you there the fastest.